educate them by helping them learn making necessary permits, how to track people, help them in their cleanup effort, and how to prepare the day of the cleanup, how to organize the groups effectively on that day as well. So this education is usually delivered in the form of a workshop. Another thing that we'll do with our cleanups is we'll frequently attach something that's educational. One example is we had a big cleanup on campus, and we tied a cigarette butt count to that cleanup. So we were kind of advocating that the university should provide more receptacles for people to place cigarette butts. Obviously, that's a large source of litter on campus. So that's kind of just one example of how we kind of attach something educational to the stewardship process. If you guys have any questions, beyond that, I can answer those now.
Great. Are there any questions from the speakers? Representative Vines?
Yeah, so I was just wondering like how you define an intern. So what does one have to do to actually be like a CFACT intern?
So like I said, the interns are, it's an application process, and then the interns, what defines it is the interns are the ones that are providing the campaigns or providing the rec service for the students on campus.
Do you follow up?
So the interns, you would say that they're not, what they're doing is not a direct service since they're only providing the direct service and they themselves are not receiving a direct service in any way? Is that correct? So I just want to make sure I understand that.
Are you asking if you're saying that they're not receiving, you're asking if they're receiving direct service? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
No, like I said, the interns are providing the direct service. They can take part in the direct service, but the interns aren't, the ones usually making a request for direct service. It's students that come in and then we help them to, fulfill whatever it is that they request.
Do you have a final question?
Yeah, in terms of your advocacy training program, just looking at the, in terms of what was said at the meeting on Thursday and looking at your funding application narrative, it seems like almost all of your resources are going to honoraria and speaker fees, and I was just wondering if you could speak to that?
To be honest, I haven't reviewed that recently. I don't have it in front of me. I can't really speak to it right now, sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Representative Rowland?
Yeah, can you go more in depth about your advocacy training and stewardship? It seems like when you were presenting last Friday or Thursday that it was very generic, and also in your eligibility applications, very generic.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said on Thursday, I don't know if the reason for it seemed generic is because it varies semester to semester, but what we kind of do on campus is completely different based on the requests we receive. So there's not, I guess, a specific set of guidelines that we follow. If that answers your question.
Do you have a follow-up?
No.
Representative Lorraine?
Yeah, so when you say that 30% of CFAC's resources and officer responsibilities are focused on the internship program, what is that actually, what are you spending that time on?
That's like training interns to help students on campus. So we'll have meetings that are just amongst CFACT interns. That'll go to some of the speakers that we have that isn't direct service but more of an internship training. So that's kind of where that 30% is allocated.
Do you have a follow-up?
I do not.
Are there any other, Representative Vines?
Yeah, do you have like a target number of campaigns or a number of campaigns per semester generally from years past that you like aim to run?
In years past, it usually ends up just kind of working out to be between 5 and 6 campaigns with anywhere from 15 to 30 students kind of participating actively in the campaign. And like I said, those campaigns are providers of direct service, so each campaign will provide a different amount of service to students on campus based on request, but it's usually between 4 and 6 campaigns.
Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, could you just give some examples of some campaigns that you've run in the past?
So some campaigns we've done in the past are Green Jobs, Right to Own, Energy.
So could you just elaborate a little bit more on what some of these are?
Yeah, so Right to Own is like, it was a campaign based on property rights, and then also the right to bear arms so you can conceal a weapon. It kind of came about per student request when the law was passed, I believe, last year for people in Wisconsin to be able to carry a concealed firearm. Energy, works with, you know, clean energy, kind of the effects of providing energy, you know, it goes into pollution. Green jobs kind of talks about green jobs, greenwashing, you know, what green jobs are available and do they actually help the environment? Are they actually a good thing, or is it more of a propaganda type, you know, scenario to kind of just advertise and market for people to come into that sector? Those are a few examples of campaigns we've had in the past year or so.
Do you have a final question?
Yeah, so if like the interns and the folks working on your campaigns are not the ones receiving the direct service, like how exactly are university students receiving a direct service in just, for example, your Green Jobs campaign or any other you'd like to speak to?
Well, that's a big part of you know, kind of why we're requesting funding so that we can market more to the student population, what we have available. And like I said, those aren't necessarily, those are, as I kind of said in the narrative, the campaigns provide the direct services. They're created based on, you know, what students need, and then we kind of package those services into a campaign. So when there's multiple requests, I guess, I don't know if I'm probably articulating this, but if there's like multiple requests for a very similar thing, that's kind of what the campaigns are created around.
Okay. Are there any other questions for the speaker? Representative Rowland.
With those multiple requests, will they be forced to group together, or if someone wants to do it by themselves or learn it by themselves, is it tailorable to them doing it by themselves?
Yeah, they're not forced to group together at all.
Okay.
Do you have a follow-up?
No.
Okay. Are there any other questions for the speakers? Representative Allers.
In your CFAC officer hours breakdown, I don't know if you've seen that, but there's line items in under direct services for tailoring of workshops and services, and also for workshop prep. What's the distinction factors?
I think the workshop prep, the tailoring of workshop services is like collaboration with students, and figure out what the request is, and then what was the second?
These workshop prep.
Yeah, the workshop prep would be like preparing for, like, say, for stewardship, it would be like preparing for, you know, and like I said, like getting the proper permits and doing things like that to prep or educate someone, you know, it's kind of one of these things that you know, to educate someone on the best.
Do you have a follow-up? Representative Schlitt.
Yeah, so kind of going off of that, can you just help give me a better idea of the difference between workshop development, prep, and facilitation? I might have missed this earlier, but.
So the workshop prep, like I said, would be preparing and educating someone. The workshop development would be, I guess the development would actually be like getting some permits with the city or with the university, depending on what you're doing. Kind of getting them, I don't want to say prepared, because that seems like it's a workshop prep, but kind of giving them the ability to be able to receive that service. And then what was the last one you said, sorry?
And then, well, I guess it speaks for itself, facilitation.
Yeah, so that'd really be.
Edison is actually just.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, also then, can you distinguish between resource creation and distribution versus networking research and distribution? Also, again, that may have been
Sorry,
covered.
I'm trying to get this in front of me right now.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
no worries.
All right, so you're looking at the staff time breakdown, right?
Yep.
And you want to just give me an idea where you're at?
Well, I'm looking at CFAC officer hours breakdown, that one, Microsoft Word document for 2014. Just top one for campus director, for example.
Okay.
You have 2 hours devoted towards resource creation and distribution, then an hour devoted to networking research and distribution.
So the networking research and distribution would be kind of working with CFAC at the national level and seeing what they're doing. Because obviously, you know, we work based off of their mission statement.
Okay.
And then the 2 hours allocated to, what did you say?
Resource.
Resource research, creation, distribution. Yeah, so the resource research would be I guess it would be figuring out what we have available within our program or our student organization that we can give to students here on campus.
Do you have a final question?
No, that's all.
Representative Lorraine?
Yeah, so I just need to get this straight one more time. The internship program then is purely training the interns?
Yeah, like I said, it would go towards training interns to best provide services to students on campus, as well as, some of those, a large portion of those speaker hours also go to, kind of training interns, whether that be for providing service or just for educating them on some other topic not related to direct service.
Okay.
Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, so do you consider the internship program a direct service or no?
The internship program itself, I want to distinguish it properly, it's not, the internship program itself is not the direct service. It's the means by which we provide direct service. So like I said, the internship, program are the people who kind of make up the, campaigns, and that's the packaging of the services, to fulfill specific requests over a period of time, whether that be a week or over the entire semester.
Do you have a final question?
I do not.
Representative Crandall?
You mentioned earlier about with workshop prep, working to sort of educate the person that you're helping put on the workshop. Are you working during the prep with the person on educating them on getting, like you said, getting permits?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes we'll call people in, like if it's not something that we can provide them with, we'll call an expert on the issue. But if otherwise, it'd be like educating, like it would be more so than getting permits or something like that to make sure that they're doing it safely and legally. It would be something more like helping them to attract other students on campus, to let them know that this is what they want to do, and get more people involved.
Okay.
Do you have a follow-up?
No.
Representative Rowland?
Yeah. For your stewardship prep and facilitation, how much time do you spend on the prep and facilitation? Like, for instance, the 3 hours of the VP of programs.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying how much would the VP of programs spend on prep and facilitation to provide a direct service? Is that what you're
Separated, yes. So stewardship prep and stewardship facilitation, like you've done above, but you didn't do for stewardship.
Yeah, so it says 3 hours. Yeah, I mean, it varies depending on the request, but I would say it's fairly safe to say it's about 33% or so, an hour.
Okay.
Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah. For the program coordinators, is advocacy implementation and stewardship implementation, are those have prep involved in them, or are they prepped by other people, or how does that work, or is there no prep?
So that's like kind of what implementation. So that'd be like providing the service. The prep work is, like that's why there's a VP of the program coordinators. That's because, when there's a lot of different programs that someone needs to oversee and kind of help organize all of them. But no, I don't think that the implementation is prep.
Do you have a final question?
Yeah, I should clarify my question. What I was meaning is for program coordinators as implementation, they have no prep under that, like on other ones, like the VP of Public Relations has prep and then facilitation. Do those need prep? Or are those prep included somewhere else?
The program coordinators just wouldn't be doing that prep, and if they did, it would be allocated. It's just not allocated. We just didn't see a fit to allocate hours in their schedule towards prep, if that makes sense.
Are there any other questions for the speaker? Okay, I just had one, I had a couple, sorry. So just I want to make sure that I have this down and clear. So the internship program is not a direct service, but the campaigns that are put on by generally your interns is a direct service in your mind? Are the
I don't really know how to
campaigns?
say it other than to say that it's the means to provide direct service, so.
I'm asking if the campaigns are a direct service.
Are the campaigns themselves
Yes.
direct service? No, they provide the direct service.
Okay.
Is that what
Yep,
you're asking?
yes. Okay, are there any other questions for the speaker? Seeing none, thank you, you may step down. Next, we have Emily, sorry if I butcher your last name, Ten Ike.
Yep, you got it.
Yes. All right, you have 3 minutes to speak. You can start whenever you're ready.
Well, I'm here with Whisper. Some of you guys may know, some of you may not. We're a student-run and student-funded organization here on campus. We do a lot of really great work here. For example, right now we're working on getting over 2,500 students registered to vote. For example, in 2010, sorry, 3,500 this year. Last time we got 2,500. At this point right now, we're actually funded on a grant because Chancellor Ward hasn't signed the contract that you guys all approved last year. It's been a year now, we don't have our contract, and we're running on grant money. This money allows us to work with a lot of really great people, like a campus coordinator, and then also our advocates who work with us here in the Capitol here, and also over in DC. And also, just wanted to note that our voter registration campaign right now is one of the largest ones across the country, and it's all nonpartisan, which is really cool. And so over the next week or so, we're looking forward to getting in contact with each of you guys individually to just talk to you guys about supporting Whisper and mostly about, well, all about getting our contract signed with the Chancellor. And I'm open for any questions.
Vice Chair Vandenhoven?
The grants that you're talking about, are those finance committee grants?
I'm unsure, but I can get back to you on that one.
You're shaking your head no.
They're not.
Okay, there we go.
Got it.
Okay. Are there any other questions for the speaker? Secretary Harris?
Point of clarification.
On point.
Chair Brooker, do you know anything about this, or do you have any insight?
Yes, I do.
You don't have to tell, well,
Yeah.
another point of clarification, or
On point.
information, I guess. Could you send us a small write-up of what you know about it after the meeting?
I
or
can.
when you're free?
Yes, I can.
Point of information.
On point.
Does the group have somebody that can sign contracts right now?
Technically not. So the contract is different. I think what you're getting at is, do they have an authorized signer?
Yeah, authorized, yeah.
They don't have an authorized signer right now because in order to have an authorized signer, your budget has to be finalized. Since the contract thing is still kind of in limbo, we don't have a defined budget. Because SSC put a sunset clause on getting that contract signed, so they would have one budget if the contract was signed, they would have a different budget if the contract was not signed. So right now, they are in between budgets. The Chancellor has said that he will not sign the contract. So right now, Whisper is still pursuing that and trying to get the Chancellor to sign the contract, in which case, if they get an authorized signer, they forfeit the contract. The contract is done. They have to take the budget without the contract. So currently, they can't spend any of their money because they don't have an authorized signer. So does that clear that up? Representative Vines?
Would the authorized signer sign off on the contract, or the contract money itself?
No. No. The contract is, the contract, I don't think the authorized signer thing is, that is not what's stopping the contract from getting signed.
I'm just still confused why those two things are related.
Because they need to have, the budget needs to be set before they can have an authorized signer. They can't have an authorized signer spending money when we don't know what the total of the budget is. Are there any other questions for the speaker, or for me, I guess? Okay. And then I guess this is more of a point rather than a question. Well, it is a question. Who should I be emailing? Because I have no idea who to email. I've been trying to contact you guys with this.
You can email me.
Okay.
And it's E10, just my last name, at Whisper.
All right.
Or I mean, at Whisper.
All right. I will be sending you an email shortly.
Great, thank you.
Representative Meyer.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys plan on pursuing that contract, or what?
Oh, yes.
How is this playing out for you right now?
Right now we're in on top of all the campaigns that we're working on, like the registering people to vote, lakes, hunger and homelessness, we're also working on a campaign to get the chancellor to sign. So this means that we're reaching out to faculty to sign endorsement letters. We're at over 60 right now. We're working on getting over 60 faculty senate to sign on, as well as staff assembly, and we're hopefully going to be reaching out to the one.
Just to clarify for everybody too that wasn't here last year, SFC has a process for identifying whether or not a group meets our criteria to be eligible for a contract, whether we think they should get a contract. And SFC, I shouldn't say it was unanimous if I'm not 100% sure, but it was unanimous. Last year, SFC unanimously said that in order to provide their direct services, Whisper needed a contract. So that's what the chancellor got. So just for background from you guys on that, thank you.
Point of information?
On point.
And the only reason that they're not getting their contract right now is that because Nancy Lynch still thinks that, like, or somebody.
That is your personal opinion.
Is it because they're afraid of a lawsuit?
I don't think that is the case. I cannot read Chancellor Ward's mind, so I would prefer that you.
Well, I mean, has he said anything? Has he put any statements?
He said that he will not sign contracts. He does not think they are appropriate for student organizations.
Okay.
Any other questions for the speaker? Seeing none, thank you. You may step down. I will be in touch with you soon about that. Thank you. Yep. Is there anybody else who would like to speak in open forum? Seeing none? All right. Open forum is now closed. New members, removal or impeachment of committee members. We have adoption of the agenda. Are there any motions to amend or adopt the agenda?
Second.
Did a motion to adopt in a second. I think it was someone over there.
Give it to
All right. Yeah. Seeing no objections, that's adopted. Reading and approval of minutes. Did everyone receive the minutes? Yes. Great. Are there any motions to amend or approve the minutes?
Move to approve.
A motion to approve and a second. Seeing no objections, those are approved. Eligibility hearings, we have none. Eligibility decisions, CFACT. Floor is open for debate. Representative by.
Okay, so I'm not going to just go down the list this time because I want to just have a discussion. I think that a lot of us have some concerns, and I want to just, have a discussion amongst the group before I come to any decisions. So I'm moderately concerned about a few different aspects of this eligibility.